Hello everybody, it's Jamie. Just want to real quick talk about a subject that I'd like to talk about, and that's why government shouldn't have any secrets. And I just want to take a little excerpt here in case you want some light reading. National security law here. It's 1,300 pages, something you can read casually. I was looking at a case the other day, and it kind of hit me that it's really important people understand why government secrecy is bad. And just one case right here to point out. It's called Muhammad versus Jeppesen Data Plant Inc. That is the site of 614 F.3D 1070. It was a case in 2011. Short of it is there was a guy, his last name Muhammad, just to keep it short, 28-year-old Ethiopian citizen. He was a legal resident of the United Kingdom. The CIA doesn't seem to have liked him very much, and according to the case and the claim, Muhammad was allegedly flown to Morocco. Moroccan authorities allegedly subjected him to severe physical and psychological torture, including routinely beating him and breaking his bones. Not only did they do that, they cut him with a scalpel over his body, and this included his penis, and they poured hot stinging liquid into the open wounds. He was blindfolded, handcuffed, and was made to listen to extremely loud music all day and night. After 18 months in Moroccan custody, Muhammad was allegedly transferred back to American custody and flown to Afghanistan. He claims he was detained there in a CIA dark prison, where he was kept near permanent darkness and subject to loud noise for about 24 hours a day. And he lost about 40 to 60 pounds in the process. Eventually, he was transferred to the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and he remained there for nearly 5 years, and he was released and sent back to the United Kingdom. Basically, it seems because they didn't have anything on him. So the short of it is that the United States government blocks this case from any sort of lawsuit because they have this thing called the state secrets doctrine. In other words, the United States government gets to keep things secret because they just claim national security and they can cover up everything they want to do in the dark from the American public. And here's what my point is. Why is that wrong? It's wrong because in the basic premise of this. Taxes pay for government. Where do taxes come from? Taxes come from you. Okay? So if somebody takes your money and they don't tell you what they're doing with it, and it's supposed to be for you, what does that sound like, okay? I mean, imagine if a robber comes into your house in the middle of the night, takes your stereo, and then you demand to know what he did with your stereo, or you demand to even use your stereo. You go find it in his house and say, I'm taking my CD that I left in there, because he took, your CDs in the little player, along with the stereo that you took. Of course you'd say, well, yeah, duh, it's yours, they took it. Well, what do you think taxes are? The United States government takes them and uses it. And the reason why it's so important that people understand the government is not to have any secrets of any sort. And when I say secrets, I'm saying the United States government shouldn't be able to hide the actions that it does. And the reason is because as long as it's hiding things, you have to admit that we are voting and working at political issues based on a lack of information. Whenever you go to vote or think about issues, if you don't have the full amount of information at hand, now, granted, I get this complaint a lot, obviously nobody can ever know every little detail. Nobody ever knows every little detail about what goes on. But when the government makes it public, just like they make any other type of public record or sunshine law, the public at large is able to research it, and of course, just like you can imagine the WikiLeaks documents or any other U.S. Congressional passage, it gets reviewed by politicians, it gets reviewed by teachers, by professors, by people who have an interest in it. In other words, when the information's out on the public table, at least, then spread out across the entire United States, people will find out information and bring it to light. They bring it to the news media attention, they bring it to alternative media attention. It's great. The more information people know and have at hand, the better decisions they can make. Of course, the first complaint is, oh no, Jamie, if people know what happens on with the government, like the terrorists are going to win and then all the other countries are going to blow us up and know where our nuclear facilities are and they're going to see all this stuff and everything's going to go awry and all of our plans will be foiled. Well, two things. One, what is any country really going to do against us when we have so many nuclear weapons and so much advanced technology? I mean, really, that's the whole Cold War kind of transposed as is everybody has big guns and nobody's going to do anything about it because nobody wants to kill themselves. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. They're not out there blowing everybody up because they're a Muslim country. You want to know why? Because the people in leadership don't want to die. Very simple. So beyond that, though, beyond the emotionalism of, oh, that's just saying walk tall and carry a big stick, the really important thing to know is that this secrecy unveiling doesn't have to be a matter of immediacy. In other words, when you're saying the government doesn't have to have secrets, it doesn't mean that, oh, they have to, tweet their every move and say, by the way, we have troops moving here or there. Oh, by the way, we just put a vulnerable nuclear secure facility over on, X coast. And by the way, you can attack it right now between, 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. because we're doing a change of guard. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if the U.S. government, even if it's 6 months or a year after the fact that they do something, publishes exactly what they do, and then maybe a couple of years after that, gives even more descriptive details. For example, let's just say they assassinate some terrorist, and don't get me wrong, I don't even want to go down this route, but this is just for the general public's, informational, knowledge and the way that the general public thinks. Okay, let's just say you go to kill some terrorist person, right? A year from now, they could publish, oh, on such and such a date, in such and such a location, we sniped this person. Wow. Public information, put it out there. Now we know what you're doing with our money. Great. We're more informed. Now, when it comes to maybe technology or something like that, maybe they invent some sort of super death ray gun. They, they take Tesla's work and they, create the death ray gun. Okay, the patent process as it is, eventually things become public after a certain amount of time. There's no reason that the government, which already, if you look, NASA's photos and work and stuff like that, it's already public. Why can't they also make that information public? You know what I mean? And you might be saying, well, then people might learn how to make weapons and stuff like that. Well, it's called the First Amendment. Of course people can learn how to make weapons. Knowledge is not banned. Anybody can sit there and go to science class and learn how chemicals interact. Anybody can go at electrical engineering and learn how to make different types of electro weapons. And people can go to mechanical and learn how to make vehicles. And it's just ridiculous. The fact of the matter is there's criminal laws that punish people for hurting others. That's the way it should be. Information should not be a crime. And information which the government has a monopoly on, that's taken from you at force and is your money, and you're making supposed decisions because this is a we the people, republic, and you're the one in charge, even though, the United States government, all the laws they make, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you didn't write a single law, you didn't propose a single bill, and you haven't voted on a single bill. Regardless of those, little side facts, this is supposed to be you're in control, you're the government, you're the one making decisions. Well, how can you make decisions when the government is paternalistic and keeps all the information away from you? Okay? Just think about it that way. Your money, your decision-making, it's important that you know what's done with it, and you can't make an informed decision with your own money unless you know what's going on. So that's just my short thought on it. I go ahead, critique, send me some messages, whatever you want to do, but there is no reason for government secrecy, because government secrecy only leads to voting, which is unintelligent, and to potential abuse with resources and even, torture, as I just mentioned with that, Mohammed versus Jefferson case, okay? So think about it, and we'll talk to you later.